Back tonight, you're in focus. The United National Transport Union has raised concerns about the CEO position at the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa. The union says the parastatal found itself with two permanent group chief executive officers due to its reckless decisions, and that the South African taxpayers and the workforce cannot continue to bear the consequences of these decisions. Untu's spokesperson Athenkosi Plaatjies joins us now for more. Athenkosi, good to have you, and thank you very much for your time. How have your members been affected by this particular decision?
Good evening, Thabo, and thank you for having Untu on Newzroom Afrika. Operations obviously have not been affected yet. We cannot say operations are at a standstill, but we do know how these reckless and irresponsible decisions by Prasa leadership cascades down to the employees of Prasa and also the taxpayers and also the working class. So as we've said in our statement is that then employees, taxpayers, the working class end up bearing the brunt of these irresponsible and reckless decisions. So we've just come out of a wage agreement whereby our members reluctantly accepted 5%, which they've been getting 5% for the last few years, with back payments that Prasa is still in the process of paying them because of Prasa's financial position. So we then disheartened and then discouraged when Prasa then in turn makes these decisions that eventually does affect its financial position.
What's the explanation given to you that this has continued while, of course, you have been requesting salary increase and you have settled at the 5%? What's the explanation of why they would have maintained paying millions to two CEOs, actually, as it seems?
Well, Thabo, when it comes to the relationship between Prasa management and labor, it has not been quite a good relationship between the two. We found that Prasa management does not like to answer to labor. So when we raise these points in meetings, then it falls on deaf ears ultimately. So all we can do is then they just keep fighting for our members and use the law that's on our side when it's required.
Have your members decided on the voluntary severance packages?
Well, when it comes to that, we did release a circular letter condemning the fact that there are Prasa managers that have been on the ground threatening or coercing our members to take VSPs. We are not in support of VSPs as a labor union because we do stand for job security and ensuring that there is job security and job creation in these entities. So we released a statement condemning the behavior of some managements that have been coercing our members to take these VSPs. So when we went on the ground then to speak to the members, then they gave us incidents whereby these managers have been there basically putting them between a rock and a hard place to say, if you do not take this VSP, then you might find yourself without a job in the next month, which puts an employee in a very difficult position. And it's very discouraging, and it should be condemned, especially taking into consideration that in South Africa we have a very high unemployment rate, and it's very difficult to re-enter the job market. So as it stands, we've written several letters to Prasa. We've even written a letter to the current group CEO, Hisham. Unfortunately, we have not received a response from him, which is very disappointing. But we've had engagements with managers, and all we've received is basically disrespect that they tell us that we should just let them manage employees the best way they know how. So that's where we stand at the moment. We are in the process of dispute resolution processes when it comes to that, because we cannot, under any circumstance, allow Prasa managers to threaten, to coerce, to tell employees that they need to take VSPs, especially in this difficult economic climate that we find ourselves in.
President Cyril Ramaphosa in his newsletter today saying, looking at the kind of progress that has been made in curbing, for example, the situation at Eskom, he is confident that even the situation at Prasa can certainly be improved and other such infrastructure. How confident are you in the 7th administration, in a government of national unity, to be able to tackle these issues?
Well, Thabo, all we can do is remain hopeful that the situation at Prasa will change. As we've said in our statement, that we hope that the Minister of Transport has taken note of all these developments and also can learn lessons from the past of what has happened at Prasa, because the reason Prasa has found itself where it is right now, where it's recovering all these rail corridors, is based on a decision that was taken by the previous board, supported by the previous, the other Minister of Transport, not the previous one, the one before the one we had. So we remain hopeful that they are learning their lessons, but we know with Prasa, and especially when it comes to the Prasa board, they keep on making the same mistakes. I think in the media it was called a comedy of errors, and I think that's the best way to describe decisions that are made by the Prasa board.
We appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming on. A spokesperson for Untu there, Athenkosi Plaatjies, joining us on the latest developments, of course, at Prasa, calling these reckless decisions that are costing taxpayers and the workforce. Of course, we'll get Prasa to give us their reaction to that.